Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Houston.
Get ready, Astros fans. It's opening day at Houston. Your 2011 Houston Astros are ready to launch another season at Minute Maid Park. Hunter Pence.
That is a game-winning hit for Hunter Pence.
Carlos Lee. Michael Bourne.
Safe at first and a tying run scores.
Brett Wallace. And Chris Johnson are back and blasting the Astros through the National League. Your Astros, next on Fox Sports Houston.
This is the home opening day for the Houston Astros in 2011, so the Houston fans get a chance to welcome their ball club home on a 6-game road trip to open the season. Fans have been waiting for this day for months. The Florida Marlins are here to play the Houston Astros in the first of a 3-game series. This is the opener of a 10-game homestand. Very warm and sultry day here in Houston, and the players found it to be quite different from the conditions on their road trip. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. We have a cast of many tonight here. It's great to be back home. In fact, it almost seems as if the road trip didn't happen. Everybody's so excited for this game now, JD.
If only it didn't happen. You're right, the conditions are much different here at home than on the road. Hopefully the results will be as well. Of course, the Astros won yesterday, their first win of the season. Hopefully if they can get that turned around, get a little momentum here at their home ballpark as the fans rush into Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, they like to mingle sometimes outside around the Halliburton Plaza, maybe grab a drink, something to eat, and then they come inside. And what they would be greeted by inside are the 2 new scoreboard. And one of the big scoreboards, of course, is now the largest in the 1080i format in Major League Baseball, 4th largest overall in the majors. They'll be mesmerized by that all night long, JD.
Indeed, and hopefully the Marlins hitters, boy, here's a segue for you, will be mesmerized by Wandy Rodriguez, who has been so good in this ballpark over the years, and especially last year, second half of last year, he was lights out here at Minute Maid Park. $1.59 his ERA since June 24th of last year, 3rd lowest ERA in Major League Baseball. He was 5-1 in his last 10 starts. Ricky Nolasco, he's kind of an interesting cat too. He's been much better in his career on the road than he is in his home ballpark. He's 27-12 on the road since 2008.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park, where the Astros play very well over the years, they will take on the Florida Marlins. It's a nice long homestand to open the season, something highly anticipated by these fans. It'll be close to a sellout, we're told. We'll be back in just a moment.
you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. We're on the field. Patty Smith is standing by with the owner of the Astros, Drayton McLean. Patty?
Yes, I am, Greg, as I do every opening day. Drayton, it's tradition for you and I to kind of talk about opening day and the upcoming season, but I know this is a magical day for you.
Well, it certainly is. This is 19 years we've owned the Houston Astros, and we're very excited and feel very confident in the 2011 baseball season.
A little bit different, not opening at home. This is our home opener, but of course already playing 6 games on the road, but it really doesn't change the feeling or the atmosphere here in the ballpark at all.
Well, it surely does not. In 19 years, only 3 years did we not open at home. So it does feel a little strange, but we have a capacity crowd tonight, and I think people are really excited about this team. It's a young team. It's going to develop as the year goes.
Well, and I know there's a lot of things for the fans to be excited about, a lot of new things going on at the ballpark. None more spectacular than this big screen that's off here to our left. How proud of that are you?
Well, in a baseball game today, entertainment's a big part of it, and we have one of the biggest screens in all of sports. It's 55 feet tall, 128 feet long, and the high definition, it's as good as the screen you have at home. So we really encourage the fans to come out and say we're going to have a lot of fun between innings using this scoreboard.
And, you know, I know that the team has not started out, of course, exactly the way you want it to, but they finished up the road trip with a win. Just your thoughts at this point moving forward in this baseball team?
Well, baseball is a series of ups and downs. Even when a team becomes a champion, wins a 100-plus game, they have streaks where they lose 5 or 7 games in a row. So we get it out of the way hurry. And so we're going to move forward from this. It is a young team. It's going to take them time to develop and adjust and mature, but we think it's going to be a very promising year.
Always the positive one, and of course we're all working hard to be champions. That's right?
Absolutely. That's the goal, to be a champion.
All right. Thanks so much, Drayton. A spectacular opening day. Always good to visit with him. Let's send it back up to Brownie and JD.
Thank you, Patty. We see the Marlins batting order now, brought to you by Comcast Xfinity, showing you Chris Coughlin, the leadoff man and center fielder, followed by Omar Infante at second base. HANLEY Ramirez is the shortstop, one of the top shortstops in the game, followed by Gabby Sanchez at first base, Logan Morrison in left field, Donnie Murphy at third base, Emilio Bonifacio in right field, Brett Hayes is the catcher, Ricky Nolasco will pitch. Wandy Rodriguez for the Astros tonight. Last time out in Philadelphia, things did not go his way. 4 innings, he allowed 9 hits, 7 runs. All of them earned, walked 1, struck out 5. And big issue really was just command of his fastball. He had a good breaking ball and had decent velocity, but command was a little wobbly. Help comes from Lee, Bourne, and Pence covering left, center, and right infield of Johnson, Sanchez, Hall, and Wallace. J.R. Tolles, he is slated to catch Wandy all year long. The Marlins have been home for the last week. They are 3-3, 2 games off the lead in the NL East. They're starting a 9-game road trip. They'll be going to Atlanta and Philadelphia after this 3-game series. The Astros are 23-26 in their home openers. This is year number 50 for the Houston franchise. Here at Minute Maid Park, the Astros are 4-7 in openers. And now they get it started playing a Marlin club which opened the season here in 06, and Houston won that one 1-0. Roy Oswalt beating Josh Johnson. Craig Biggio scored the only run of the game in the 7th inning on a wild pitch. Chris Coughlin to lead it off, and Chris Johnson's in tied at third. There's been a world of difference in Wandy Rodriguez's career in his home numbers compared to road statistics. At home, he's 38-26 with a 3.46 ERA. Fly ball heads for left field. Carlos Lee backpedaling. It's been a breezy day, and he extends and right into the wall. He backed into that wall, and he's bent over now as he hit it pretty hard going back. Well, just a routine pop-up when it left the bat, but hot, muggy day here, roof open, wind blowing out, and that ball really carried. Carlos drifting ultimately makes a play, but up against that out-of-town scoreboard. To reach all the way up, and then he caught it in the lower back, it appeared. Took a pretty good blow as he backpedaled into that wall. Head athletic trainer Nate Lucero goes all the way out. Michael Bourne alongside. So Wandy gets out number one. Now he'll have a little delay before Infante comes up. Wandy last time out Saturday at Philadelphia lost to Cliff Lee and the Phillies 9-4. He gave up 9 hits and 7 runs in 4 innings in that game. A chance to settle in now at home, get a couple of starts at home on this stand, and get going again. He had a very rough first couple of months of the season last year, winding up at 11-12. Now Brad Mills goes out to see if Carlos.
Yeah, still a concerned look on the face of Carlos Lee out there. Initially, I thought maybe just had the wind knocked out of him, but perhaps a little bit more. Good to go.
Well, he knew he was going to be hitting something pretty hard.
Yeah, you know, and it doesn't look like a whole lot, but he's a big man, and you're moving backwards into that wall.
That's a good point. Pretty vulnerable position, backpedaling that way. Not knowing exactly when you were going to hit that wall, but when he set foot on the warning track, he knew it wasn't very far away. The wind is blowing out to left. And from the looks of that first fly ball, this could be quite a night for the hitters, JD, if it's going to have that kind of effect.
So it's time to come up with a sinker. Keep it on the ground.
Now the game resumes with Omar Infante batting. Infante joining the Marlins this season. A very good defensive player, is their second baseman. Dan Uggla went to Atlanta, and so the Marlins lost a lot of power in Uggla. Infante looks at ball one. 208 is his average. He's driven in a couple. Infante puts one in the air to right. Hunter Pence calling in right center. 2 outs for Wandy Rodriguez.
Marlin Club is a pretty interesting bunch. They've got a lot of talented young hitters, some good arms in the rotation. Everybody's talking about the Phillies and the Braves at the top of the NL East. If you were to try to identify a surprise team in the National League this year, the Marlins would be a good one to pick. I mean, it'd be difficult for them to hang with the Phillies with all the pitching that the Phillies have, but this is a pretty intriguing bunch here.
And this man is one reason. Hanley Ramirez, 231 with 2 runs batted in, one of the top shortstops in the major leagues. They strike one to Ramirez. Ramirez has won a batting title. He is a top-notch run producer in this number 3 spot in the order. Pitchers will really have to deal with him again this season.
Speed, power, and good against Wandy. 7 out of 14 in his career against Wandy.
He bounces this one. Brett Wallace breaks for it. Makes the long toss there. And it takes only 6 pitches for Wandy Rodriguez to get 3 outs. And the Marlins go down in order. we see the Astros batting order of Michael Bourne, Angel Sanchez, Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Red Wallace, Chris Johnson, Bill Hall, J.R. Tolles, Wandy Rodriguez.
Right-hander Ricky Nolasco, he goes for the Marlins tonight. And this is his second start. The first one was a good one. 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, a couple of runs, walked nobody, struck out 4. Fastball, curveball, slider, split finger pitch. Part of a pretty talented starting core here with the Florida Marlins. Defensively, it's Morrison, Coughlin, and Bonifacio, the speedster. Infield of Murphy, Ramirez, Omar Infante, Gabby Sanchez. Brett Hayes catches. John Buck, the primary catcher, with the night off. Marlins traveled last night, played 11 innings at home, and then flew into Houston, so they probably didn't hit the rack till 3-ish.
Michael Bourne missed the game yesterday with a little tenderness in the left groin area, but back in the lineup tonight. Takes that breaking ball, and the count's 1-1 from Nolasco. Jason Bourgeois had a good game in Cincinnati. Now Bourne is retired. 1 out for Nolasco, who faced the Astros in our spring training telecast at Jupiter. He had a rough time in that game, giving up 7 earned runs. Ooh, they're moving to Alaska. There's some immediacy to this evening for them.
Now, well, we'll see what we can do.
Angel Sanchez, a .333 hitter, has driven in 3. Off to a very nice start with the bat. 1 for 3 again yesterday.
Ooh,
rips that one foul.
It's a hanging fastball. You know, that's something I don't think I've ever heard anyone ever say to me before. We're moving to Alaska. You know, I've heard people say we're going to Alaska, we're going to go on vacation, we're going to go on an Alaskan cruise. I don't know anybody that's ever moved to Alaska.
Well, this might be the time of year to do it. The summer coming up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Summers are beautiful there.
Hey, they can find us when they're in Alaska at MLB.tv. They'll be able to check us out.
Nolasco gets a strike call. The home plate umpire is Jim Wolf. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Nolasco, when he pitched that game against the Astros on March 18th and gave up the crooked numbers, was coming back from a thumb injury this spring. And last season ended early for him with a knee injury. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But he has been very good in his career.
54-39, 14-9 last year. So you count on him to give you double-digit wins. That's been the case the last 3 seasons.
Line on a bounce, picked up by Ramirez. 2 outs for Nolasco, who is 3-1 in his career, but with a high ERA against the Astros.
Ball really well struck by Angel, and Ramirez out there short. He didn't have time to really position himself. So he just had to hang in there and trust his good hands to pick it. No time to get in front of it. Might not have wanted to anyway, the way that thing was hit.
Yeah. Hunter Pence seemed to have some problems in Cincinnati picking up breaking balls. He saw a lot of them. .261 for Hunter, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. That's strike 1 call. Nolasco has a good overhand curve. Pence with 3 career hits. They've all been homers off Nolasco in 10 at bats. Ricky, 28 years old, from Corona, California. He lays off that one for a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Last year, Nolasco won 14 and lost 9. He was 15-8 in 08. So in 4 of his 5 major league seasons, he's been in double figures. Off the end of the bat, this fly ball heads back into left center. The wind moving it further back, and Hunter Pence bangs one off the wall, checking in with a double. It's a good place to hit it tonight.
Well, breaking ball that he reaches for, gets good extension through the ball. That obviously helps, and then the wind does the rest of the work for him.
Now a 2-out RBI opportunity for Carlos Lee with a .227 average. He had his 2nd triple of the season yesterday. Carlos on the check swing call is called for swinging by Darrell Cousins. That's strike one. The high for Carlos for triples in a season is 3 back in 2001.
He's on a record pace.
Brett Wallace on deck.
He'll be going for it now that it's within sight.
Good cut. 0-2. Marlins with Josh Johnson, who led the league in ERA as their #1 starter, and Nolasco as #2. Have their usual very competitive young club, solid bullpen. They move into a new stadium next year. Nolasco began his career with the Cubs. The Marlins got him in a trade after the 05 season for Juan Pierre. In the dirt, and it gets by, allowing Pence to take third base. Brett Hayes had only caught 1 inning, as JD mentioned. John Buck had started every game before tonight, so the wild pitch allows Pence to get to third base.
Yeah, Astros catch a break. Buck's been swinging the bat very well. He's got the night off, presumably back in there tomorrow. Josh Johnson pitched yesterday, so we don't see him in this series. Mike Stanton, the young slugger, is banged up right now, listed day to day. So I think we'll probably see him tomorrow, but they're a little banged up right now, the Fish.
They have the second best ERA in the early going in the National League. Target outside here for Nolasco. And it's poked on the ground, slowly hit to first base. Sanchez with the toss. Nolasco is there for the 3-1 play. No runs ahead, a runner stranded, no score after 1.
Series against the Reds just concluded. In this series against the Marlins, you score as the Astros score. For every run the Astros score, you receive $2 off field box tickets for the game against the Padres on Saturday, April 16th. Prices will drop each day and are only available while supplies last. Visit astros.com/runs for tickets. So far, we're down $18 off the tickets if my calculations are right.
Good discount. Gabby Sanchez takes their strike 1 as he leads off the second inning. The cleanup man at 360 has driven in 4. He produced 85 runs batted in last year. No balls, 2 strikes to the 27-year-old native of Miami who went to the University of Miami. He was a catcher there. He's kind of the Michael Bourne of the Marlins. Born in the city and went to college in the city where he now plays Major League Baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Wandy Rodriguez. He and Ricky Nolasco, both the #2 starters for their respective clubs. Brad Mills in his second season as Astros manager. His club had a hard-fought win yesterday.
3-2 in the top of the 9th inning.
And don't judge that man by his one-loss record. He's an outstanding major league manager.
That brings up a good point, really. A lot of times the manager of the year does manage the club with the best record. But, you know, in fairness, look at the material each manager has and what he got out of it. That's probably the best way to judge the manager of the year.
It's really very difficult to know the impact that any one manager has on his club. You'd have to do a lot of the in-depth interviews and surveys with the players in the clubhouse and the front office, and you just don't know all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on.
Ripped and diving. Chris Johnson knocks it down, scrambles for it, throws wide by Brett Wallace. Now Sanchez heads for second base, and he will make it. It's a hit and an error. Johnson's second error of the year. Good diving stop, and then he threw it wildly.
Yeah, and his haste trying to make a play after knocking it down. The errant throw cost him a base. Maybe they have a shot at him with an accurate throw.
Converted first baseman Logan Morrison next.
It's the kind of play where you're inclined to say, I should have just ate it. But you got to try to make plays. And the ball's on you that quickly at third base. If you get to it in a hurry, you feel like you got a chance to throw out a guy like Sanchez. He's not Bonifacio. He's not a real speed demon.
No balls and a strike to Logan Morrison, who's tied for the league lead in walks with 8. One of the good young players, 23 years old on the Marlins.
It's the kind of play where the first baseman, if he knows an accurate throw isn't going to get the guy, just abandon ship, just leave the base and slide out and just go catch the ball. But Wally felt like maybe he could make a play as well on his end.
First baseman might be battling the sun a little bit in the early innings of this game. The game starting an hour earlier than the normal weeknight start time. He dropped down a little bit, got the foul ball, keeps the count at no balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Wandy likes to alter his delivery from time to time with the lefty, get a little lower with that arm angle. Morrison's a good-looking young hitter.
That tough sun angle for the first sacker. Morrison was born in Kansas City, lives in Slidell, Louisiana. He pulls this one, the runner going to third, as Wallace takes it to first. 1 out, and Murphy will be batting with Sanchez at third. Edwin Rodriguez, in his second year as skipper of the Florida Marlins, managed some minor league clubs. And he spent a little time in the big leagues with the Yankees in San Diego. His club last season won 80 and lost 82, finishing in third place, 17 games out of the lead. Now the infielders come in halfway for Donnie Murphy. Murphy, 28 years old. He just had a game-winning hit a few nights ago in Florida. Looking at ball 1.
Murphy, a shortstop, moving over, playing some third base. Third base, a bit of an issue for the Marlins. Kind of an unsettled position right now.
Well, they had young Matt Dominguez in spring training, playing a lot of third base, but sent him down to the minors. Now he's out with a broken bone. Murphy with a 1-1 count. Got the game winner, a walk-off hit Tuesday night against Washington.
I like what Brad Mills is doing here, pulling his infield in. Some managers will keep the infield back, concede the run just to get an out. The philosophy being, hey, it's early in the game. You don't want to set him up for a big inning. But I think now that the Fish are down towards the bottom of their order, he feels comfortable, even if Wandy gives up a base hit here, that he'll be able to get out of it. Never mind the base hit. He just smoked him.
Murphy hit by the pitch, and now Bonifacio comes up, first and third, and 1 out. Second hit batsman of the season for Rodriguez.
I'm right in the batting glove.
Sure did.
Or the siding glove or whatever it is. Guess it wouldn't be a batting glove because he's wearing those. Got him right in the ham and cheese sandwich. He was saving for later.
Bonifacio can play just about anywhere on the diamond. He's the right fielder tonight, hitting 300. Has 1 RBI. The young phenom Mike Stanton getting another day of rest with a hamstring injury. And he is a monster in right field. Here's ball 1. One of the top young prospects in the game today, Stanton. Bonifacio filling in, but he can play third, second, and just a very useful guy. Has some speed. And from time to time in the past, he's gone off on a tear. Squeeze is popped up. Now Brett Wallace has it and throws to third for the double play. Well, Bonifacio pops up the squeeze, and it goes as a 3-5 double play. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. Here it is.
Thank you very much.
Nothing, and the squeeze bunt was popped up, so the Astros got the double play to keep Florida off the board, and now sends Brett Wallace to the plate.
If you ever wondered, why is that called the suicide squeeze? Well, now you know. Coming third was just dead.
Well, that's the worst of all possible outcomes. Wallace fouls it back, strike 1.
It's a peculiar play. Normally you think of the squeeze as more of a mid-late game play. This early in the ball game, wind blowing out, and you expect perhaps a high-scoring game. I'm a little bit surprised, but I guess what Edwin Rodriguez was thinking, if he gets it down, he gets 1 in, he has 1 over, and a chance to drive in another one, or maybe Millsy intentionally walks the 8-hole hitter, and that way they get the pitcher cleared. Bonifacio, a speedy guy, tough man to double.
Wallace picks on one out over the plate, rams it into right field. Velasco made a mistake on location that time. Here's the throw behind him, and he is out. Bonifacio gets an out on Wallace. It's a single and then a 9-3 play, and Bonifacio got one back after popping up the squeeze bunt.
Yeah, how about that play by Bonifacio? Center fielder's speed with the right fielder's arm from deep in right field. Wally was a little bit too aggressive of a turn at first base. Here it is in Foxmo, breaking it down for you. I'm just not sure exactly when the tag was applied.
Chris Johnson looks at it. It's strike 1 to CJ, a 227 hitter with 2 runs batted in. Chris said he's detected a little different pitching pattern. compared to last year in the major leagues against him. It's 1-1. And he knows and has known for a while that pitchers will try to get him to expand his strike zone based on what he did last year and the pitches he hit last year. 1-2. Johnson hit .308 last season. He hit .316 in the second half and was the Astros Rookie of the Year. On a breaking pitch, it's a foul tip strikeout. First strikeout for Nolasco. Jim Wolf with that call, and now it's Bill Hall.
Nolasco's got good breaking stuff. Throws both the curveball and the slider. And on his game, you'll see a whole bunch of them.
Hall was excited about coming back home for this game because he's from Nettleton, Mississippi, and his mother's here and fiance. 143, 1 RBI for Bill Hall. Hall to third base. Murphy makes the play across. It's no runs a hit, nobody left, no score after 2.
Night in Houston this Sunday, this very weekend. The Astros host the Marlins at 105. First 10,000 fans will receive a Michael Bourne Gold Glove bobblehead courtesy of AT&T. Pictured there, that's pretty sharp. Fans can also enjoy Fan Fest. That starts at 11:30 before the game. Tickets can be yours at Astros.com. Michael, holding some hardware. You're going to want to have that to display at home. Maybe you could fix it to the dashboard of your car.
Not a bad thought. 0-0 after 2. Wandy Rodriguez, who in his last 10 home starts last season was 5-1 with a 1.59 ERA, goes to work against catcher Brett Hayes. Hayes is 2 for 2 with an RBI.
God, this guy's hitting 1,000. You can't squeeze in front of this guy. You got to let him get him up there.
Ball 1 to Hayes. First time he's been on an opening day roster. At 214 this spring. Last year he started at AAA New Orleans. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. John Buck signed a 3-year deal as a free agent to become the Marlins' primary catcher. Started to go, and he was called for swinging by Jim Wolf. It's 1-2 to Brett Hayes.
He should be hitting 2,000. Somebody ought to be out in the stands taking a picture for him. You know, you're not going to hang on to that 1,000 batting average very long.
Absolutely. And he did not hang on to it at all. Strikeout number 1 on a slant from Wandy Rodriguez. And it's Ricky Nolasco batting.
to Charlie.
Nolasco's facing the Astros for the first time since August of '09 when he pitched a complete game here, beating Bud Norris. There's strike one to Ricky. He is 0 for 1 with one sacrifice bunt. It was a dominant game for Nolasco. He struck out 10 without any walks in that 3-hitter. No balls, 2 strikes.
Souvenir on opening day. Congratulations.
Always nice to get one early.
There'll be a lot of dogs consumed out here tonight. Nachos.
Of course, there is a new menu, so a lot of fans will be sampling some of those new items.
Brian Caswell's got a couple spots out here.
He sure does. He has some sliders. What else do you remember sampling when we were here a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know all that was his or not his.
It was good stuff, whatever it was. Excellent sliders.
Hanging sliders.
They didn't hang very long. Isn't it great, though? Baseball is back after all these months. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It really is just a big, it's a big picnic, really, when you come to the ballpark. Just sit there and gorge and watch a bunch of guys run around with a stick and a ball.
Bounce slowly up the middle. Sanchez cuts over. 2 outs. Time now for our Doing More in Defense feature, brought to you by the Home Depot, showing you Brett Wallace. An easy play. Just a matter of coordinating with a pitcher so he didn't run into him.
Yeah, that was the only issue. And Lonnie's backpedaling because he's trying to make a play on it. He doesn't know where Wally is. That's not a play you practice, or it wasn't like it was in the air a long time. That was the one fear, that there'd be a collision and that ball would fall safely to the ground. And then you would have heard 40,000 people all groan.
Yeah, that's for sure. Chris Coughlin, Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, hit that warning track fly ball, backing Carlos Lee into the wall and left. Coughlin was injured last year and was brought along slowly. In fact, he hurt his knee last year, and then this spring he had shoulder problems, throwing shoulder. Line, and it picked. He got it on the fly. Brett Wallace took care of Coughlin's low liner for 1-2-3 third, and no score at Minute Maid Park.
To our progressive fan of the game, and this special little guy right here, Kendall Robinson. He's with his little cousin Megan. He has been out here all day. Compliments of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And Kendall, tell us a little bit about your day and how fun it's been for you and what you've done.
It's been really fun here. I just love it here at Minute Maid Park. I love the Astros. They're really good players. I just can't believe I'm out here. I've always wanted to be out here.
Tell us a little bit about what you did today. I know you did something pretty special with that flag.
I went out there on that flag, and I held that flag out there.
You got to meet some players?
Yes, I got to meet some players, and I got to meet some astronauts.
That is quite awesome. And
there's a home run that he might enjoy, hit by J.R. Tolles to give the Astros a 1-0 lead. But J.R. Tolles jumps right over that Nolasco pitch and provides #1 in his 3rd start of the season.
Nolasco's been pretty aggressive with that fastball, willing to throw it over the heart of the plate. JR jumped all over. How about that, Kendall? That's a topper. Pretty swing.
A run early for Wandy Rodriguez, who now bats and takes a strike. He's a cute little guy, Patty, and it's interesting to hear his excitement. There's excitement from a lot of people on opening day, but especially the youngsters, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And his mom, Michelle, right here behind me. And Michelle, just, how much has this day meant to your family and to Kendall?
It's been unbelievable, awesome. The Austin and the Houston Make-A-Wish Foundation chapter, the Astros organization, the players that were kind enough to give him the time and autograph and pictures. It's just been amazing, and we'll never forget this day.
Well, awesome. And we're glad to share it with you, Kendall. Thank you so much, and for all your great stuff and your great interview and that home run. You are a Progressive fan of the game. That is for you. Guys, a great story down here, and he's bringing good luck to this team.
Yes, he is. Well, okay, next time the Astros come up, you can interview him again if it's time for another home run.
Yeah, I think I'll just sit here the rest of the game and maybe the rest of the season, and we'll just get him season tickets.
We get the bases loaded. We got to check in.
That kind of karma works very well. Michael Bourne takes. That's a strike. And it's no balls, 2 strikes for Ricky Nolasco. After the home run by Tolles leading off the inning. The Astros getting their 3rd long ball of the year. Nolasco with a close pitch there, just missing, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nice thrill for J.R. Tolles. He's going to be the catcher for Wandy Rodriguez this year.
Yeah, handicap. What were the odds that J.R. Tolles was going to be on this club for the home opener back in September, October, November? I mean,
very long odds.
He probably was thinking he might be on to a different organization by now.
Yeah. Well, he was the opening day starter last year, but then was sent down and injured his thumb in May in the minor leagues and missed the rest of the year. And now what a change 2011 has brought about for J.R. Tolles with the injury to Jason Castro. Three balls, 2 strikes. People get ready for their fantasy drafts. They study numbers. Sometimes all winter long for some fans. Try to do projections. There are always plenty of surprises early in the season. It's fun to watch it unfold. Line drive over 3rd, foul.
Yeah, sometimes what happens is a guy will have a couple trials at the big league level and really struggle, and for whatever reason the light will come on and he'll figure something out, whether it's a change in his swing, just becoming more comfortable at the big league level, and then he'll take off and have a fair bit of success.
Slow chopper to second. Quick release on to first by Infante, 2 outs.
So much of this game is mental and making adjustments, dealing with the everyday grind. And conversely, you see stories of guys that come to the big leagues and they just tear it up for a couple weeks or a month or even half a year. And you think, hey, we got the real deal here. And then 2 years later, they're out of the game or stuck in a AAA career.
Yes. Nolasco is throwing first pitch strikes to the first 10 batters in the game. Sanchez grounded out to short. He gets the first ball to open the at bat. Tolles jumped all over that first pitch strike. Hitters pick up on that trend pretty quickly. And it's 2-0. Bud Norris and Javier Vasquez are the starters tomorrow night. It's Jay Happ and Anibal Sanchez on Sunday afternoon. In the air to right. Bonifacio takes care of out number 3. The leadoff homer on the first pitch of the inning came from the Astros catcher, J.R. Tolles. Hit career home run number 9 as a major leaguer to make it 1-0 Houston.
Time for the AT&T Trivia Challenge. The question today has to do with opening day. As the first pitch to strike, the opening day question is, all the years of the Houston baseball franchise, there are 2 teams they have never played on opening day. 2 of the present teams in baseball. 2 franchises would be correct. Who are they?
There's a broken bat liner into center field, and Infante opens the 4th with a hit. What was that question again?
The question, it's opening day. There are 2 franchises the Astros have never played on opening day. 2 of the present franchises. Who are they? Now, when I say opening day, that means whenever they open, whether it was home or road. There are 2.
And this would be obviously nationally.
Yeah.
Yes, no, that's true. No interleague open season.
Let's see. They were in the West for a while, then they've been in the Central. So let's.
Ooh, parsing this.
An Eastern Division team, maybe? It doesn't mean that, but.
I like the way you work, though, Brownie.
Ramirez takes ball 1.
Trying to bring a little logic to it. That makes sense.
Yeah, we know
there's no way anybody would really know this.
No. How about the Nationals, the Expos/Nationals?
Well, that would be the same franchise, but it would not be right.
No, okay.
I'll go with the Mets, and we'll go with like a new team. Like the Arizona Diamondbacks.
There you go. I feel certain you're right with that one. Okay, what is it, Greg?
I feel certain he is too, I believe.
Okay. If you're not certain, we're in deep trouble.
Well, I wrote the question yesterday.
Okay.
I know the Mets is definitely right. I'm pretty sure Arizona's the other. Guys in the truck will show us.
All right. Okay.
They'll show us if we're right.
We'll get to it when we get to it. 2 balls and a strike.
Mets is a little surprising, though, since you'd think just simply because they came in at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, since that's a cold weather city, and this isn't.
Off the end of the bat, this fly ball hangs into shallow right center field. Hunter Pence coming in for it. And it's out number 1. Hanley Ramirez, a .398 career hitter against the Astros, is retired. Now we get the answer.
Oh, baby.
JD is the first champion of the season.
Smoking. Well, the Diamondbacks, the logic argument helps a little bit there. The Mets are just,
Well, except they've got a dome stadium, and you'd think you'd avoid that. They don't. Baseball doesn't. But you'd think you'd avoid that as much as possible.
Did you happen to read the article about expansion back in the early 60s today in USA Today? Strike 2, Gabby Sanchez.
I did not.
Pretty interesting. Back in '62 when the Mets and Astros came along, and '61 the Senators and the Angels, and how things have changed dramatically on the baseball landscape since then. This one to center field. Michael Bourne in for the grab. 2 outs.
That ball was smoked. It was knuckling as it approached. Yeah, I see Michael out there going, man, that thing was moving this way and that way.
It was hit hard. Logan Morrison next. Well, back in 1962 when the Colt 45s had their first ever opener, they beat the Chicago Cubs 11-2. And they had quite a day of it. Bobby Shantz went the distance, and Roman Mejias hit a pair of 3-run homers. A great opener to begin the franchise history, and now in the 50th year. There's Morrison over third base, and it could be a hit inside the left field line. It is dropping, and Wandy will go to third base to cover there, but not in time, as first to third Infante on the looping single by Morrison.
Well, here we go again with the old that's baseball. Infante with a little broken bat flare base hit. This thing, he should be embarrassed to take this. He should just give up his base and go back to the dugout. This is just awful. But it's a knock. And yet Gabby Sanchez hit a rocket and he's out.
Yeah. No Justice in this inning.
Nope.
Although Richard Justice is here covering the game. And in this 1-0 affair, it's going to be Donnie Murphy coming up next.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. If you're Wandy, you can be out there and just cursing your luck, saying, gee, 2 really weak hits. But bottom line is it's first and third. You got to get a big out here.
Murphy was hit by a pitch in the second inning. Puts this one in the air to right. Hunter Pence backing on it. And Wandy gets out number 3, leaving 2 runners on with a 1-0 Astros lead. Leadoff homer in the third inning. As fans dressed in the same color t-shirt, enjoying a very warm and breezy evening, and the wind is blowing out to left field. Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace due up in the Astros' 4th inning against Ricky Nolasco.
It's the kind of wind that could influence a hitter's game plan when he steps into the batter's box, and you have to guard against that. And the Astros obviously playing all their home games here, especially the veteran guys who are fully aware of that. But a lot of times right-handed visiting hitters, they get caught trying to yank the ball, especially when there's a left-handed pitcher on the mound. They're just looking for that ball coming in towards them that they can turn on and hit out of the ballpark. We've already seen a couple of flares, weak pop-ups to right field off the end of the bat with right-handed hitters likely trying to pull balls that are out away from them.
No balls, 2 strikes. High fastball is hit out of play. Florida pitchers have done a nice job. The Astros hitters in the last 14 games going back to last year have scored 4 runs or less. That's the longest streak in the majors right now. They would love to put that to an end and make things easier for the pitching staff tonight. Hunter takes, and it's a ball. The Astros have won 10 of their last 14 here at Minute Maid Park from the Marlins. They were 3-3 against Florida last season. Florida's new ballpark will be somewhat similar to this one, with a roof that rolls back, air conditioning. Flared foul right field side.
Interesting, Nolasco, who really likes to lean heavily on his breaking stuff. Back-to-back fastballs here with Hunter after getting the jump on him. Took that one shot way up and then down and now in. 3 consecutive fastballs from Nolasco. Maybe they just feel like Hunter's looking breaking ball. See if they come off the fastball here. The one thing he has not done is throw him a fastball in the zone with these last 3 offerings.
Yeah.
One up that he fouled off, one down that he took, and that one in.
And back to the breaking stuff. Another foul ball from Hunter. That was that 2-strike swing to just stay alive. Really hard to do anything with a pitch like that in that location.
After 3 consecutive fastballs, he does come with a breaking ball. Hunter fooled by it, but apparently got a piece. That replay there looked like.
Yeah, it didn't look like he did on that.
Unless that bat's growing hair, I don't think he hit the ball with it. Oh, they're going way out there.
Little bouncer goes out to second. Infante on to first. 1 out for Nolasco. Clint Barmas had some x-rays earlier today, and they showed healing of the broken bone in his left hand. He's been cleared to play catch, and he'll be allowed to swing the bat some, but not yet at pitching, just swinging. So he's on a pretty good track. Carlos Lee grounded out. Sanchez to Nolasco covering first time up. Carlos is a .279 career hitter against the Fish.
Same with that same aggressive approach. An approach that has worked very well for pitchers over the years. Be aggressive early, get ahead, then expand, especially with nobody on base. He gave up that home run to JR, but it was a leadoff home run. Usually that doesn't beat you.
Foul back and out of play. 1-2. It's one of those nights the fans really seem to enjoy for a lot of reasons. One is that if they're in the same seats and they've had friends around them in those neighboring seats, they may not have seen those friends all winter long. So a get reacquainted night and pick up a souvenir along the way. And it's 2-2, and then there's the brand new seating area, the Insperity Club in the old press box. Terrific venue from which to watch a game with food and drink there in what used to be the press box. That's been moved up on this level, as you see, 1 level higher. Little roller. Nolasco bare hands, throws high, and Lee will go to second base. Infante loses control of it. He might have had him, but the ball popped out of his hand.
And I think Jim Wolf is calling Carlos out for being inside the baseline.
He sure is. And now Brad Mills is coming out.
The ball does not have to hit the runner. If the umpire judges that the runner interfered, hindered the throw in any way, he's going to rule him out. And Mills is saying, wait a minute, he just lobbed the ball. And Wolf's going to say, well, he did it because Carlos was inside. And I think a lot of people think that the ball has to hit the runner inside the baseline for him to be out. That is not the case.
Well, he was running on the inside of the baseline. I believe the official score will score it from 1-3, but or 1-4 rather. No, 1-3.
It's a tough break for the Astros, but I think that's the right call.
2 outs, and here's Brett Wallace. He singled to right, but then was thrown out when the throw went behind him. He taps that one for strike 1. Brett said his mother has come in from California for the game. Brad Mills got the explanation from the home plate umpire Jim Wolf. Wallace over shortstop to left field, caught by Morrison. The Astros go down in order, and after 4, it's 1-0 Houston.
Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Sonic, America's Drive-In, and by Still. Visit stilldealers.com, and by AT&T.
Very warm night at Minute Maid Park, and a 1-0 ball game. And we go to the 5th inning. Bonifacio, Hayes, and Nolasco for the Florida Marlins. Bonifacio popped up a squeeze bunt. There's strike 1 to him.
There we go. Get after it, young man.
The official score has given us his ruling on that Carlos Lee play, and the play is ruled from 1-3. What's he doing?
Giving the grandma and grandpa the bunt and just killing the dog.
Yeah. Strikeout of Bonifacio. Number 2 for Wandy. Well, you know, kids kind of rule on opening day. Whatever it takes to enjoy.
Yeah, I'll share my hot dog. Here, you have the bread. I've been climbing the ladder.
Mm-hmm. Brett Hayes struck out in the 3rd inning. Hayes puts that one in the air. Michael Bourne retreating in center field, still going back a long run. That one bounces, goes all the way up to the top of the hill, and Hayes checks in with a stand-up double. That ball carried a tremendous amount. First extra base hit by the Marlins.
Didn't know he had that kind of pop.
No.
Put a good charge in it, and we've seen Michael make plays up on that hill, but playing a little shallow, had a long way to go.
1-out double. Now it's the pitcher Nolasco. Red Wallace is playing well off the bag at the edge of the grass. Chris Johnson even with the bag at 3rd for Nolasco. Grounds it to shortstop. Sanchez takes care of the second out. Now it's Chris Coghlan. Coghlan, an interesting case. A guy who was an infielder and then seized that opportunity to become the left fielder and was Rookie of the Year in 09, hitting .321. And now moving to center field after being anxious to make that move when Cameron Maben was traded by the Marlins over the winter to San Diego.
Figured that those numbers would have to come down. We talk a lot about the sabermetric numbers, and his rookie year, his batting average, BABIP, his batting average in balls in play was .366, which is inordinately high. That speaks to a fair bit of luck. So he had to come off of that.
On the one hopper, Wandy on 6 pitches gets 3 outs in the 5th inning, allowing 1 hit, stranding a runner, and maintaining a 1-0 advantage. Time for a look at our Brown Hand Center. Great hands of the game. It came from the first baseman, Brett Wallace, gloving that line drive by Chris Coghlan back in the 3rd inning. Just above dirt level.
Yeah, Wallace been very good out there. The only thing is he plays so far off the line. There's been a couple of balls now where he's fielded them or attempted to field them when it would turn out to be an easy play for the second baseman. I think that's something he's going to have to sort out. Make sure he communicates with the second baseman, realizing that anything just a couple of steps to his right, the second baseman is likely going to be able to handle.
1-0 Astros. The Marlins have out hit Houston 4-3. Houston has the only error in the game. Chris Johnson struck out in the 2nd.
So our Fox Tracks brought to you by Steel.
Rolled back to Nolasco. 1 pitch, 1 out there. Wandy Rodriguez had a 1-2-3 first inning. Seems to be his usual vintage self at home, and got home run support from J.R. Tolles, JD.
Yeah, so very comfortable here. And, for the most part, that's the way it is with athletes in any sport. You feel better on your home court, your home ice, your home field, and for a pitcher's home mound. For Wandy, I think the key for him has been to be, continue his dominant stuff here at home and just be a little bit better on the road.
Bill Hall grounded to 3rd earlier. There's ball 1. The Astros last year at home had a winning record, 42-39. On the road, they were 34-47.
On Nolasco, he's just the opposite. He's better on the road than he is in his home ballpark. So he probably can't wait for that new stadium to get built in Florida. He's a .500 pitcher at home in his career, 20-20 with an ERA of .479. On the road, he's 34-19 with a 4.15. So better than a half a run per game better on the road and a much better winning percentage.
Hall puts it out of play, right field side. 1-2.
I'm guessing it's the coffee, the in-room coffee, probably.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, it's got to be something.
J.R. Tolles has hit his second homer in an Astros home opener. Back in the third. He hit one on April 7, 2008 against St. Louis in a home opener. In the air to right field. Bonifacio measures it. 2 outs. Coors Light provides the cold hard blast of J.R. Tolles. Leading off the third.
You do not want to pitch to this guy in a home opener. Record has clearly been established now.
JR is a pull hitter. Clint Barmas, who's injured right now, another pull hitter, might be able to do that same thing a few times once he gets back into the lineup. That's ball 1 to JR.
So if you're going to go down and away with that fastball, you got to make sure you get it down and away. Don't let it drift back over the middle of the plate.
It's 2-0. Last year, the Astros really sizzled here at home after June 22nd. They were 28-15 at Minute Maid Park. In 18 of their last 19 seasons, they've played 500 ball or better at home. Grounded to the left side, diving, and that by Murphy, not enough to prevent the hit, and now a big turn. Murphy got his glove on it, then deflected it past HANLEY Ramirez. A single for Tolles. He's 2 for 2.
That's a big knock there with 2 outs. Get Wandy's spot in the batting order cleared. Not to say that Wandy's not capable. He's a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Just off the edge of Murphy's glove. Now the Houston pitcher, who grounded out to shortstop, does get this 2 out at bat in the 5th inning. Hitting 8th, a very difficult assignment, but tonight J.R. Tolles has delivered the only run of the game, and then, just as you mentioned, got the pitcher to the plate with that 2-out single. Things going extremely well, and he's caught a shutout through 5 innings. So maybe these two guys will be one of those pitcher-catcher batteries. Over the years, we've talked about it. You know, certain guys like Tim Carver, Steve Carlton, so on down the line, hook up, and the catcher seems to have his best offensive games in addition to catching well-pitched games. Fly ball left center field. Logan Morrison takes out number 3. No runs, a hit, and a man stranded after 5. It's 1-0 Astros.
1, Marlins 0. And join us for Astros Fan Fest tomorrow and Sunday here at Minute Maid Park. Fan Fest activities include player and alumni autograph sessions and activities for every fan. All proceeds from player autograph sessions benefit the Astros in Action Foundation. Visit Astros.com for tickets and details. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. Quick 5 innings have passed already. It's 1-0 Houston. J.R. Tolles provided the only run in the third with a leadoff homer on the first pitch from Ricky Nolasco. Wandy Rodriguez has had 2 6-pitch innings, the first and the fifth. And he got out of a spot in the fourth with 2 men on by retiring Murphy on 1 pitch. And then the 1-out double by Hayes went by the boards in the fifth. So Wandy, nursing this 1-0 lead, will face Infante, Ramirez, and Sanchez here in the 6th inning.
A pretty clean line there, and he's made just 50 pitches to this point, and that's really beneficial on a steamy night like tonight. Only 12 pitches out of the strike zone. These 12 that were called balls. The Marlins have offered at a few out of the zone. Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, has had a fairly generous strike zone tonight.
It's upstairs, ball 1. Phillies lead Atlanta 3-0 there in the bottom of the second in Atlanta. Cliff Lee versus Tim Hudson. 2 balls, no strikes. There are those who think the Atlanta Braves are a playoff team this year.
Pretty good club, Brownie.
Yes, it is.
I like their chances.
2-1. Getting a little cooler here now. The wind's still coming through the ballpark. The sun is dropping. There are some clouds. Ground ball, backhand play. Sanchez throwing across his body. Tremendous play by Sanchez to get Infante.
Pretty. Angel had his struggles defensively on the road trip, in particular a couple of nights ago in Cincinnati. And that was a sparkling play. Very nice. Boy, tough to be accurate with that throw.
I know it. Right on the money to Brett Wallace. That's very supportive because Ramirez is coming up next. He's 0 for 2. Ramirez always a threat. There is strike 1. It's going to be interesting to see where his numbers are when his career ends with the path that he has set in the early going. .313 career average, and he's 27 years old. 1 ball, 1 strike. He hit .342 when he won the batting crown in 09. And he drove in 106 that year. Rookie of the year in 06. Out to shortstop on 1 hop. Wandy got in on his fists for out number 2. He's hitting some very good spots tonight. Both these pitchers mixing it up well.
Well, maybe a little amped up for his first start in Philadelphia. Now settling in. Here's Angel Sanchez in Foxmo. Boy, if they had Foxmo back when I pitched the ball, it never would have gotten to home plate. It would have been like Bugs Bunny.
Can you imagine your changeup? We'd be replaying that for 2 innings. Gabby Sanchez 1 for 2. Bouncer up the middle and on through into center for a 2-out single. And the Marlins have sprinkled their 5 hits throughout. Sanchez now has reached base in all 7 Marlins games this season.
Hit the ball well all 3 times up. The only out he made back in the 4th when he lined out to Michael out in center.
Logan Morrison was attractive not only to the Marlins as he came up through their system after being a 22nd round pick in 05, but he was attractive to the Chicago White Sox when the Marlins were talking to the White Sox about maybe coaxing Ozzie Guillen to come down and manage over the winter. Well, the White Sox wanted Logan Morrison.
That's an awful lot to ask for the manager.
Yeah, it is.
It's not unprecedented to trade a manager for a player. It doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
I think Lou Piniella,
Yes.
right? When he left Seattle and went to Tampa?
Yes.
He was a player involved in that transaction.
You're right. Might have been Randy Wynn. Can't remember exactly. 1 ball and 1 strike. Braves just got 3 in the bottom of the second off Cliff Lee to take a 3-3 tie ball game. Grounded foul. Jeff Bagwell's here tonight. Craig Biggio here tonight. Former President George Bush here tonight. A lot of dignitaries scattered throughout. And Baggy will be joining us on television tomorrow night and on home games on Saturday nights throughout the season. Always enjoy his insights.
You guys didn't get the memo that it was green tie day at the ballpark.
No. Fouled away. And Jeff will be around the ball club quite a bit for home games this season. As you know, he was the hitting instructor last year, the second half of the season. Declined an offer to come back this season. Mike Barnett has taken over. But Jeff will still be around the clubhouse quite a bit before home games, just talking with the hitters. He and Mike have chatted about that relationship. Everybody completely on board with it. Still a 1 ball 2 strike count. The club did improve offensively after Jeff Bagwell took over. And Mike Barnett, a very hard-working coach who's been with 2 other major league clubs, Toronto and Kansas City. Boy, has he been around that batting cage in a tireless fashion throughout spring training. Really stresses the situational approach during batting practice.
Speaking of Lou Piniella, Barney learned under Lou Piniella in New York way back in the day.
Through the left side, Morrison steered it away from Sanchez, who was up the middle, and now 2 runners are on for Murphy with 2 outs. Third time the Marlins have placed 2 men on in an inning. Last night they had a rough time in that extra inning game. They went 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Murphy was hit by a pitch in the second. Wandy got him on 1 pitch, a fly ball to right in the fourth with 2 men aboard. Scott Kelly, the NASA astronaut, threw out the first pitch. He recently returned from a 5-month stay on the International Space Station. There's strike 1. His brother, Mark Kelly, is also at tonight's game. He's the husband of Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. Marlins tonight are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. That one almost clipped him on the left elbow. It's 1-1 to Murphy.
He got hit once tonight, so Wandy obviously wants to make sure he does his work inside to Murphy. See the breakdown on pitches, very easy first, cruise through the 5th. Working a little harder here in the 6th. Big pitch coming.
Tap to the right side. Wallace can't get it. Bill Hall to Wandy Rodriguez for a 4-1 final out in the top of the 6th inning. It began with a meaningful play on Infante in the hole from Angel Sanchez. He keeps him off. Then later in the inning, 2 hits follow, and it's 1-0 Houston. At Minute Maid Park, bottom of the 6th inning, the Astros have the top of the order up against Ricky Nolasco. Michael Bourne has grounded out twice. Corner infielders pinching in tight for Michael. Nolasco hits the inside edge with strike one. It's a 1-1 count.
Both of these pitchers very efficient tonight. A lot of first pitch strikes. Getting the jump on most of the hitters.
Little chop back to Nolasco, and we go to Patty Smith with former President George H.W. Bush. Patty?
Yes, I am, and this is an opening day tradition for us. I know opening day is very special for you, always a lot of excitement.
It's exciting. It's a great thrill to be here on opening day. Look at this crowd is good. Ball game's good. Rodriguez is off to a good start. What more could you add?
And now, do you even have any idea of how many opening days you've been to?
No. I have no idea, but this was exciting.
Well, I want to talk to you. I know you were honored recently for the Points of Light Institute a couple weeks ago in Washington, D.C. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, we had a big event, and of course that's about volunteerism, about helping others. Volunteerism, no definition of a successful life that is done includes service to others. That's the theme of it all. And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. A lot of stars came to help us with the entertainment, and it was wonderful.
And this is, of course, something you started many years ago, and all 4 living presidents, former presidents, were there as well.
They were indeed. And Clinton, Carter, me, and George W. It was wonderful.
And now I know every year we talk about your skydiving. I know you haven't done it recently, but a little bird told me you have one planned for the future.
For my 90th birthday, June 12th, 2014.
And what does your wife think about that?
She's all for it.
Is she going to go with you?
I think she's hoping the parachute opens. No, she's not going with me, but she's like, no, she's used to these idiosyncrasies. She's all for it. She goes for it. Do something.
All right. Well, every year you keep promising to take me with you, and every year you jump alone. So I don't know what I have to do. I got to wait till 2014.
You got to be ready. 2014, you'll still be a young kid. I'll be an old guy, but we can do it.
All right. We are there. Did you guys hear that? I am a young kid. You heard it right here from the most important man in the stadium. So just remember that, guys.
All right. You got a date, 2014. Somebody will be up there to document it when you get out of that plane. There's strike one to Hunter Pence, who doubled in the first, advanced as far as third. Always great to see former President Bush and his wife Barbara, who attend many games here before they head for Maine when the weather gets warm. It's gotten warm pretty early this year, though. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nolasco has thrown 16 first pitch strikes of the 21 batters he's faced. Pence fouls it back. It's 1-2. A lot to look at if people have not been in this ballpark for a while. And some came for the exhibition game with the Red Sox at the end of spring training, but brand new scoreboard, right center field, brand new scoreboard, high atop left field, the ribbon boards circling the stadium. It's a lot to take in today. Foul back, it's still 1-2.
I think we should show movies on the big screen when the team's out of town.
The clarity on that screen is just magnificent, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes you find myself just kind of staring at it, not watching the game.
That happens. Foul back. Nolasco got that pitch up a little bit.
Yeah, it stayed above the happy zone. He got lucky because it was a hanger, a bad action, but it stayed up on him a little bit out on that front foot.
The big scoreboard in right field is called El Grande, and it's 54 feet by 124 feet. Drayton McClain talked about that earlier. There's the pattern on Hunter. He reaches for it, taps it foul.
The last time up they showed him inside once or twice. This at bat mostly staying away, middle away.
There's the new one, and for the people who sit underneath the larger scoreboard, that's what they have to look at now.
That'll give you scoreboard envy, though. It's above your head. You have to crane your neck.
That's right. A little tap foul again on a breaking pitch. And a lot of folks, most people don't want to sit in a seat for 3 hours straight, so they'll stroll around, get some food. And we always see many people out on that railing, out around the ConocoPhillips pump in left center field, the home run pump, just watching from that vantage point. And they're feeling a nice cool breeze headed their way right now. Fastball foul away. Pretty good battle here as it stays at 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Hunter's fouled off several.
See if they take a shot inside.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because look at the patterns. Nothing inside.
I'm going to go back to breaking ball. Slider away.
Little tap, goes foul again. Hunter with a mad dash up the first base line.
Yeah, and that's what I think Brett Hayes wants to go out there and talk to his pitcher about that very thing. Hey, look, we've been staying away mostly with the breaking ball. We know that's the book on Hunter, especially when you get ahead. But how do you feel about taking a shot inside? I want to come in hard with one fastball, see if we can jam them, pop them up. And if we miss, we'll go back out away, or do you feel comfortable just staying outside? And maybe Hanley Ramirez has his own 2 cents to add, too. A lot of times a veteran hitter will come in and they'll just have a sense of the way the at-bat's progressing. They'll come in and say, hey, man, throw him that fastball in. You'll chew him up.
Well, he's able to reach out and tap those breaking pitches foul.
But the fact that they've got him lunging for that may convince him just to keep doing it.
This ground ball to third, fielded by Murphy. Nolasco wins the battle, has a 1-2-3 6th inning, 1-0 Houston.
Brought to you by Gullo Automotive, treating you like family. By Jack in the Box. Right now, get the All-American Jack combo with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates.
Emilio Bonifacio with a foul ball leads off the 7th inning, 1-0 Astros. It's getting more and more interesting by the pitch here. Bonifacio's 0 for 2 tonight.
And Bonifacio, first time up, bunted into a double play on a failed suicide squeeze play, and that turns out to be a very big play in a 1-run ball game.
Edwin Rodriguez club had 6 hits, 5 singles, and a double by Brett Hayes, who's on deck. Pitcher Spadu up third for the Marlins.
Funny though, I remember commenting about 2 hours ago, boy, the way that wind's blowing out, this could be a high-scoring game.
bunt goes to Brett Wallace. Yeah, it seemed that way. It's out number 1. Now Hayes, who hit the double to center field over Michael Bourne. His ball carried extremely well. He struck out in the 3rd inning. St. Louis and San Francisco are tied 4-4 after 11 tonight in San Francisco. Winless Tampa Bay trailing at Chicago. White Sox 1, Tampa Bay nothing after 2. Breaking pitch almost hit the back foot of Hayes. He pulled it out of the way.
Sirree.
Enjoy.
Manny Ramirez retired today. Speaking of Tampa Bay.
And tell me about the drug test.
Well, apparently he failed the drug test and was facing another suspension.
Okay.
And he said, well, you know what? I'm just going to shut it down. Take it to the house. Beyond that, I don't know much.
Okay. Ball foul, third base side. 2 balls and a strike. With Nolasco on deck. 1-0 ball game. The final score in 06 was 1-0 when Roy Oswalt was the winning pitcher for the Astros. Craig Biggio scoring the only run on a 7th inning wild pitch, beating Josh Johnson. Three balls and a strike. Yesterday, the Astros bullpen came into play for Brett Myers starting in the 7th inning. Mark Melanson worked 1/3. Fernando Abad got his first major league win, and Brandon Lyons saved it 3-2. Fly ball left field headed for the big board. Carlos Lee looking up. That bangs off the wall. Another double for Hayes. Two of those tonight for Brett Hayes.
It's clearly going to be a double all the way. Carlos hearing some boos from some of the patrons here. If we can drop a little Masters jargon on you. The patron's not happy because Carlos took a while to get this ball back in. He just didn't get the handle on it, picking it up out there. It wasn't not going to change the outcome of the play unless Hayes took off for third base. Carlos will tell you, I was baiting him. So Hayes came in here batting 1,000, 2 out of 2, but 2 real nice swings at the bat.
Yeah. Now Nolasco. And with 1 out, he's swinging away. There's strike 1. Twice he's grounded out to shortstop. With nobody out, he'd be bunting, but 1 out. He gets a shot at driving in this run. And he fouls it away.
Interesting that Edwin Rodriguez is staying with Nolasco. Down a run here on the road in the 7th inning, but he feels confident that his guys can come back and tie this one or take the lead. And he wants to reward Nolasco, give him a chance to stay in this ball game.
Nolasco has 16 runs batted in his career. His only homer was his first career hit in 06. 1-2. Wilton Lopez is warming up for the Astros. Johnny Rodriguez has thrown 78 pitches. Ground ball, base hit to left field. Stop sign at third. Carlos Lee got to the ball, came up with it cleanly. And the Marlins now have runners at first and third with 1 out.
Makes the manager look like a genius.
Yes, it does.
Carlos motioning with his hand the way the ball was moving on that outfield grass. When the grass is cut in a pattern like that, sometimes the ball will kind of snake its way through the grass, shimmying this way and that.
Joe Espada stopped him there at third. Perry Hill of Lantana, Texas, the coach at first base. Chris Coughlin's the batter. Double play situation with 1 out. Coughlin came up with 3 doubles on Wednesday against the Nationals to tie a club record. 0 for 3 tonight. Coughlin takes and it's ball 1. Colorado leads Pittsburgh 3-1 after 4 at Pittsburgh against Jeff Karstens. Wilton Lopez working alongside bullpen coach Jamie Quirk.
Shouldn't take long to get hot tonight.
Chopped to shortstop. Sanchez charging, goes back to second. Bill Hall, and the game is tied. No chance for a double play. Hayes scoring on the roller by Coughlin, picking up RBI number 1 of the year. Slowly hit to turn 2.
No, Bill Hall tried, but there was no chance to get Coughlin. Good play by Sanchez, because sometimes you get a situation like that and you try to do a little bit more than you should. Maybe try to come home or try to be awfully quick to get to. There was just no way you're going to get 2 here. So important to get that out at second base and keep that runner at least out of scoring position.
Hayes scores the tying run to make it 1-1. And it's Infante, 1 for 3. Infante singled in the 4th inning. Sanchez made a terrific play to throw him out in the 6th.
I suspect if Wandy doesn't get Infante, Lopez will come in to face Ramirez, given Ramirez's history against Wandy. 0 for 3 tonight, but coming in had very good numbers.
Missing ball 1. Lee, Wallace, and Johnson are due up in the Houston 7th inning. Boston finally got into the win column today, beating the Yankees 9-6. John Lackey the winner over Bartolo Colon. Jonathan Papelbon picked up the save, and Dustin Pedroia homered. A-Rod hit his 3rd for the Yankees. Runner goes. Throw from Toles to Hall, and the tag gets him. Coughlin gunned down from 2 to 4 to end the Marlins 7th inning. With 1 run scoring on 2 hits and nobody left, it is a 1-1 ball game, and Jack Ingram is up next on the field. check out one of the big plays of this game. Carlos Lee running up the first base line. Ricky Nolasco throws it over the head of Gabby Sanchez, but Lee is ruled out. Umpire Jim Wolf for interference with the play. The Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by the Frost Brewed Coors Light.
You have to run inside that lane, and then you can work your way back to the bag as you get closer to first base, but he was running inside the line the entire time. That's why Wolf made the call that he made.
Carlos 0 for 2 tonight after backing into that left field wall. An early fly ball hits this one in the air on the infield. Infante underneath. 1 out on 1 pitch. Both these pitchers have done well in that category tonight. So they're both still in the game in the 7th. Fred Wallace singled to right, then he was thrown out after rounding the bag, trying to get back in the 2nd inning. Then he hit a fly ball to left in the 4th.
I hit that ball in the 4th inning hard as well. So 2 good swings from Brett tonight.
Chris Johnson's on deck in the Astros home opener tonight. Good ball game as Wallace hits one deep to left field. Morrison back off the wall. It kicks back toward the center fielder Coughlin, and Wallace has rattled the wall with a double. First double of the year for Wallace is 2 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, you let him shoot the ball the other way in this ballpark, and you're asking for trouble. His stroke is tailor-made to take advantage of the Crawford boxes here. Last couple games, he's had some very nice at-bats. Looks like he's starting to settle in. A little more air, and he gets it out of here, but take that 1-out double.
Chris Johnson has a shot at giving the Astros the lead with Wallace at second. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a roller back to the pitcher. Dave Clark with signs for CJ, who takes a look. It's a long sprint from the bullpen that he just made. Coughlin's in right center field on Johnson. In the air toward the right field line. Bonifacio, after a long run, gets there and then tumbles. Nope, no play. Now Wallace is tagged and gone to third base. He ran into that low wall. And his leg, left leg, is the issue apparently for Bonifacio. That's a real problem.
Well, just came up a little bit short in position to make a play. Not an easy play by any means. Just never got to the wall. Couldn't find it. Didn't know how much room he had as the ball hits right on top of the railing there.
His left side ran into that railing. Well, Johnson, who drove in 52 last year in 341 at bats, still has life. It's 0-2 for Nolasco. 8 hits for the Marlins, 5 for the Astros. Those are the numbers. That pitch downstairs produces a check swing call at first base. 1-2 with Darrell Cousins making the call.
Boy, Darrell Cousins has umpired a long time. He may be the senior man.
Okay, we'll have to check years of service.
Joe West would be among them.
Yeah. Line drive over shortstop. Fred Wallace is being sent home by Dave Clark. Logan Morrison's throw to the plate does not get him. And the Astros take a 2-1 lead with Wallace coming in on the single by Johnson.
Nice to see the young corner infielders team up here to give the Astros a lead. 1-out double by Wallace and C.J. Wise for that curveball. Nolasco's leaned heavily on that pitch tonight. The breaking ball down in the zone. He stayed right on it. Good solid line drive, RBI single.
Dave Clark singing Wallace, and the throw from Morrison drifted third base side. Good diving stop there by the catcher Hayes. That saved any further advance by CJ. Lasco hadn't arrived yet into a position to be able to help prevent Johnson from getting to second base if that ball had gotten by the diving Hayes. RBI number 3 for Johnson breaks the 1-1 tie. And now it's Bill Hall. He's 0 for 2. Last time Lasco pitched against the Astros in 09, he retired the last 23 men he faced. Hall looks at ball 1. Only CC Sabathia among major league pitchers had more wins on the road since the beginning of the 08 season than Lasco's 27 coming into this game tonight. And he has kept his club right squarely in this game. One and one. We see some action down in the Marlins bullpen now.
Good swing by CJ as Lasco came back to that curveball. To do it all over again, he probably had to bounce it or get a little further out of the zone, but he left it where CJ could reach it.
Brian Sanchez is warming up in the Marlins bullpen. Through the left side. Bill Hall gets his first hit as an Astro at Minute Maid Park. 3 straight hits for the Astros. Total of 7 hits tonight for the club.
Randy St. Clair is the pitching coach for the Florida Marlins. Job that he's done for a long time. He used to be with the Expos and the Nationals. This day in Astros history is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. April 8th, 2002, Craig Biggio pitched for the Cycle in Colorado. Astros win 8-4. Craig became the 4th Astro player to hit for the Cycle.
Cesar Cedeno did it twice. St. Clair out to the mound. Jose Cruz, all the icons there together. Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, Linus Cabell, along with Tal Smith. Others in the front office watching from Ed Wade's box. Jason Michaels comes out to the on-deck circle. Wandy Rodriguez due up next.
You should be down there, Brownie.
Oh.
25 years.
Hey, I want to be right here with you, pal.
This kid. That's icon status.
This is a fun job, isn't it? We can see why some people never retire. J.R. Tolles with a homer and a single. And he tried to bunt, but missed. Or did he? No, he did not attempt at it. The appeal went down to Darrell Cousins. Cousins ruled he didn't offer at the pitch. This is the 10th straight sellout for the Astros for a home opener.
Go ahead and swing it, JR. You're 2 for 2. Swinging it well. Pitcher's on the ropes a little bit.
41,042 the paid attendance. Another sellout.
Good swing here. Put this thing out of reach.
Up the middle. Here's the force play at second. Ramirez relays not in time.
Oh, he's down.
He is down and rolling over now after a collision with Bill Hall going in at second base. Hall is down.
Boy, that's so dangerous when an infielder has his back to the runner. Ankle, left ankle.
I don't know if you saw that injury to Nishioka, the second baseman of the Twins, but he got hit by Swisher of the Yankees. Nick Swisher went into him on a double play attempt there at second, and that is such a vulnerable situation there, that collision around the bag.
Yeah, when you're blind, you don't know where the runner is, so you can't anticipate, you can't take evasive action if you're going to try to turn the double play. See, you know, option one would have been just to get out of Dodge and bail out, but he's thinking he's got a chance to get the double play. You give him credit for hanging in there and trying to make the turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Infante got him the ball, but he had to turn his back to first. Then he just kept turning around, and Hall went into him inside the baseline, knocked that left foot out from underneath him. That plant leg is what's vulnerable in a situation like that. So Hall is forced from 4 to 6. Ramirez still down. Well, years ago we were in Florida when Craig Biggio went down on a slide, and he had to have knee surgery.
Yeah, it was 2000 maybe?
That sounds right.
Preston Wilson.
Preston Wilson went into him, and of course, clean play. But now this would be such a difficult loss for the Marlins if Hanley Ramirez is out for any period of time. And he is carried off the field so he doesn't put any weight on that left foot or ankle. Yeah, he just had his weight planted on that left leg when Hall went into it. One of the top performers in the game helped off the field.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Looks like a trip to the DL, but hopefully not a lengthy one. I'm sure he'll be sent for x-rays, MRI, and hopefully he'll get some good news.
Such an important guy for Florida, and he has been an everyday player. Very little rest. He's had 5 years in the major leagues. He's had well over 500 at-bats in every year. Over 600 in 2 of those seasons. Greg Dobbs will come in to replace him. Or we'll see if somebody else moves around. Dobbs will go to third. And Murphy may go to shortstop. We'll see. It's tough to see a player come off the field that way.
You see Hall catches the inside corner of the bag with his left foot, and then the knee directly on top of the foot in the ankle area of Ramirez there as it's planted. He wasn't able to get airborne. If you get airborne, get your weight off of it and then take the hit, not such a big problem.
Yeah, that was bone on bone there. So Dobbs goes in to play third, and Murphy will move to shortstop. Jason Michaels will be the pinch hitter now. Batting for Wandy Rodriguez, who now can be the winning pitcher in this game. Wandy in 7 innings, allowing the Marlins 8 hits and 1 run. He did not walk anybody. He hit a batter and fanned 2. A very good ball game for Wandy Rodriguez tonight. Michael's 0 for 4, and there's strike 1 to J. Mike.
Pretty much the norm for Wandy in this ballpark. 7 innings a run, that's standard. Yeah, he's been.
His last 10 home starts, he had an ERA 1.59, so this does fall right into line with those 10 from last year. Breaking pitch from Nolasco, and Michaels takes it for a 1-1 count for J. Mike. 227 with 7 career pinch hit homers for Jason Michaels. He roared through spring training with a 373 average. Roller to shortstop. Murphy with the toss. And the forced play goes to Infante. The Astros break the tie with 1 run, 3 hits, 2 left. They move to the 8th inning, leading by 1, 2-1.
Astros and take the Astros with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv tonight to see every Astros game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. And Bill, we've got baseball fans everywhere in this stadium that are pretty darn happy right about now.
Well, you're out there among them, sampling the opinion. See any smiles out there, Patty?
They are smiling everywhere, but I got to tell you, I sat down there with President Bush for quite a while after that interview. He actually wouldn't let me leave.
Ah.
How about that?
Well, you've become good friends over the years. You've done so many interviews, right?
It was awesome. He just was all smiles and friendly, and I just absolutely love that man.
Everybody's in a good mood on opening day, but he always is anyway. Here's Wilton Lopez coming in with a 2-1 lead. Top of the 8th inning. Last appearance, as you see, Tuesday at Cincinnati, 1 hitless inning, and he got a hold on opening night when he came in Philadelphia with a 4-2 lead in the 8th, JD.
Yeah, and I digress because I got thinking about President Bush's interview with Patty, and I'm thinking to be looking forward to jumping out of an airplane at the age of 90. It's such a great lesson to to look forward and to just keep going. My goodness,
it really is. Omar Infante leads it off. He's 1 for 3. Wandy Rodriguez threw 83 pitches, 58 for strikes. And now this 2-1 lead. It really is costly, the loss of Ramirez to the Marlins, because Ramirez would be due up next. But instead it'll be Dobbs. Not that Dobbs is not a good hitter. He's a very good pinch hitter. But they just lost their number 3 hitter in this game.
Yeah, well, lost one of the best 5 players in the league.
1-1. That's hanging up in the air. Brett Wallace back behind first, but it's called for by Bill Hall. And over into foul ground, 1 out.
Well, you know one thing, if you step in the batter's box against Wilton Lopez, he's going to attack the strike zone. He's going to come right after you with that good sinking fastball. He does not walk people. So you might as well go up there hacking.
Greg Dobbs had a big spring with 24 hits and 53 at bats for a .453 batting average. He is 2 for 4 in games that count this year.
Important now here for Brett Wallace to communicate with Bill Hall, because 1-run lead late. Now they've got Brett Wallace guarding the line, so he's got to let Hall know.
Bouncer up the middle. And that's off Hall's glove on through into center field, and Dobbs comes through with a hit off the bench.
I'm seeing that's what happens. You take something away in this game with your positioning, and you give something up. With Wally guarding the line to take away the double, which is the percentage play, Hall cheats a little bit to cover the hole, and that opens up the middle a little bit. Had they been playing where they were earlier, Hall probably gobbles that one up.
Dobbs reaches on hit number 9 for the Phillies, for the Marlins rather. And it's Sanchez now. He's 2 for 3. Line drive left. Carlos Lee turns, plays it off the wall. And in fact, there's only a 1-base advance by Dobbs. Well, not all that damaging, even though the ball was well hit by Sanchez for his 3rd hit of the night.
He has been the most dangerous bat in the Marlin lineup. 4 trips to the plate, and he's hit it on the screws all 4 times. And this time he hit it so hard it cost him. Gets under it a little bit, and the Marlins have the lead, but just pings a rocket off that scoreboard. Perfectly played by Carlos. And no chance for Dobbs to go beyond second base.
2 men on for Morrison, who's 2 for 3. Mentioning the Phillies a moment ago, they are trailing now 6-3 in Atlanta after 4. So the Braves went after Cliff Lee and tagged him with 10 hits and 6 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings. Line up the right field line. That'll tie it. Dobbs around to score the tying run. It's deep in the corner. Comes into Bill Hall. And it's a 2-2 game. And Morrison gets his 3rd straight hit, an RBI double.
When we talked about Wilton Lopez's aggressiveness, and the Marlins with a good game plan, coming up here looking early, looking to swing early, and he's giving them a couple pitches to attack. First Sanchez, now Morrison, both real good aggressive swings on fastballs that were probably up a little bit in the zone. Wilton usually likes to let sinker down around the knees. Couldn't quite get it down there.
Infielders move in some. Hunter Pence had to dig that one out of the corner. Runners at second and third, one out from Murphy now. Lopez missing ball one.
Yeah, early in the game you might stay back because a base hit likely scores two, or certainly could score two, but you're down to 6 outs to play with, and that's the go-ahead run at third base, so you have to give yourself a chance to cut that run off at home.
Foul away. Scott Cousins is on deck, the lefty hitting outfielder. Bonifacio due up next. There's Cousins with a count 1-1. Cliff Crowley is the camera operator up here in our booth. This is his 30th opening day. Kim Elston in his 28th opening day on camera. Up the middle and diving Sanchez. The go-ahead run scores. Throw to first, not in time. 3-2 Marlins. Sanchez scoring. Morrison to third. And Murphy picks up the go-ahead RBI, his second of the year.
4 consecutive hits. This is reminiscent of that Philly inning on opening day off Brandon Lyon. Little slider off the outside edge, up a little bit. Murphy put a good swing on it.
Now, the talented phenom, the rookie Mike Stanton, comes up to pinch hit for Bonifacio. Stanton's been out with a hamstring strain. Now's the time for him with a 3-2 lead. The career 0-for-3 pinch hitter. Stanton sidelined quite a bit of spring training. He is 1-for-3 overall with the Marlins this season. Bouncer short. Sanchez to second. Hall to first for the double play. But the Marlins come up with 2 in the 8th on 4 hits to take the lead. They leave a man, and it's now Florida over Houston 3-2. In this game, goes to the mound in the bottom of the 8th inning. His club has given him a 1-run lead, 3-2. There is bullpen support available, of course, if needed. He'll be facing Bourne, Sanchez, and Pence. Scott Cousins has gone in to play right field after Mike Stanton pinch hit for Emilio Bonifacio. And Nolasco versus Bourne. Michael has grounded out all 3 times. There's Cousins in right. .92 pitches for Nolasco, 65 of them strikes. Third baseman in close. Showing bunt anyway. Michael takes ball 1 upstairs.
Yeah, because of the leg issues for Stanton, Edwin Rodriguez basically has to use 2 players there in that substitution. Pinch hitter, and then Cousins comes in to play defense. If this game ends up in extra innings, that could prove meaningful.
Mike Brady's running camera for his 19th opening day. Frank Trevino is 27th. Robin Barrow 23. Jamie Tidwell 25. Kevin Allen 14 among the long-timers. Line drive over short in the left center field. Bourne will take the turn and hold on there. All played well by Morrison, holding Bourne to a single in left center.
Yeah, not sure exactly how good Michael is feeling, whether he'd be inclined to try to steal a base here. Tweaked the groin the other night in Cincinnati. Talked to him before the game. He said he felt fine, but you know, there's fine and then there's ready to try to steal bases fine.
Now Sanchez 0 for 3. Margaret Krause is working her 26th opening day in the truck. Bunting, he bounces it high. A look at second, but the throw goes to first for the sacrifice. Going from Hayes to Sanchez from 2 to 3. And Bourne to second for Hunter Pence now.
And that's a play when a catcher, if you're coming out of there with Michael Bourne running, you got it. You can't think about it. You just have to make that throw to second base. And I think he would have had him. Not sure, so he took the safe play.
And Michael might be running a little bit under wraps tonight. Hunter Pence is 1 for 3, but that's probably the cautious and wise thing to do. Hunter doubled and reached third in the first inning. Grounded out twice since then. Velasco has given him a lot of breaking balls off the plate. Bourne takes off for third. Here's the throw. It bounces and he steals it. He might have been deking. He stole that one easily. Number 2 of the year.
Now Hayes is really wishing he took that shot him that second shot at him on the bunt play.
Now that really changes the situation. The infielders come in.
Marlins played 12 innings last night. I'm not sure what kind of shape their bullpen was coming into last night's game, but there may be some tired arms down there. Edwin Rodriguez sticking with his starter a long time here, giving Hunter Pence a 4th look at Velasco in this game.
Jeff Fulcino and Brandon Lyon are warming up for Houston. Clay Hensley has pitched in 3 straight. Edwin Mujica 4 straight games. Lays off that time, working the count to 2-0.
That's one of the things a manager has to consider when making a pitching change or contemplating a pitching change. I'm sure you look at the pitch count, how effective a guy has been, but the numbers tell you when those hitters, they see that guy for the 3rd and 4th time, typically the batting average start to go up.
And smashes a foul. 2-1. Normally you don't think of a team 1 week into the season with a strapped bullpen, with the way the pattern has been. As you mentioned, the 11-inning game last night, and then the first game of the Washington series went 10 for the Marlins. And the starting pitchers went consecutively 2 1/3, 5 2/3, and 5 in 3 games in a row. So they've been up against it. Ball fouled away. Still 1-2 to Hunter. Carlos Lee's on deck. Astros played a tight one yesterday. It stayed close the whole way, and they won it on a Matt Downs RBI double with 2 outs in the 9th, 3-2 at Cincinnati. Pence takes a ball. 2-2. Right before that pitch, Logan Morrison in left field quickly moved about 4 steps toward left center. More than the usual 1 or 2 step movement before a pitch.
Yeah. And must be somebody in the dugout was trying to get his attention to reposition him, and he didn't catch it till the last. Either that or there's a mosquito after him out there.
Coughlin's over in right center on Pence. Line drive, right field line. It's a foul ball. Oh, so close to tying the game.
Missed it by that much, Chief. It's an RBI double at least. Would have been one in and another one in scoring position. Hayes out there to have a chat with Nolasco because he got away with a mistake there. You know, they've had some success working up in the zone with Hunter, but that one was down where he could get to it.
These two clubs really battling in this one-run affair.
Michael got to make sure he comes down the line with the delivery. Be ready to score a little slow tapper.
There's a little slow tapper, but it's foul.
Because that's what you get a lot with Hunter with that slider.
Yeah.
He lunges out after it and rolls over on it. He hits a lot of slow ground balls in the infield.
We've seen a bunch of those tonight. Foul right around home plate. Fans really into it. 41,042 the paid attendance. Another sellout. Hunter takes and it's a ball, a full count. We're going at third and one out.
Nolasco's shown him enough of a variety of pitches here where he can't sell out. He can't look for any one pitch here on 3-2. Has to protect against that slider away and just react to the fastball. Such your quick hands to get to it.
Another foul ball. Well, they've had some battles these two have tonight. Long at bats. Nolasco over 100 pitches now. 104 with very good numbers for the night. No walks. Hunter Pence has seen 28 pitches tonight from Ricky Nolasco. This will be number 10 this time up. Swing and a miss, and he strikes him out. 2 outs.
Good pitching there, and Nolasco's just taking advantage of Hunter's aggressiveness, trying to drive that run in. We'll show you this at bat pitch by pitch. You see Bourne taking off on that first pitch slider, so Nolasco able to get the jump, and another slider. Showed him one fastball up and in. Hayes sets it way off the plate as they continue to pound away with first the fastball, then the breaker. That's the one right there that Hunter liked to get back, but he put a good swing on it, just couldn't keep it fair. And then back to the money pitch. The slider's down and away, trying to get him to chase. Got away with a mistake there, and ultimately finished him off.
Now there's been a conference at the mound while you were watching that. And Nolasco's staying in. Edwin Rodriguez out to chat. It'll be Carlos Lee. 0 for 3. Pitcher spots due up second and the Marlin ninth. Brett Wallace is on deck. He has 2 hits tonight. Oh, 1 to Lee. Lee's not hit the ball out of the infield tonight. There's a breakdown on Nolasco's evening. And Carlos was backed into the left field wall by the game's first batter, Chris Coughlin, as he caught that fly ball. Popped up. Sanchez to end it. And there's a show of emotion from Ricky Nolasco, who just got 2 very big outs to send this game on to the 9th with the Marlins up 3-2. bullpen has accounted for 13 1/3 innings the last 3 games. Has not been needed so far tonight. A gritty effort by Ricky Nolasco has kept his club close, and then they just took the lead with 2 in the 8th inning. Now with Florida coming up in the 9th, it's Jeff Fulcino to pitch.
Jeff has been out there 3 times. Most recently Tuesday in Cincinnati, where he worked a scoreless inning, allowing the 1 base hit. Healthy again here in 2011. Battled arm problems all last year. So the arm's feeling good. He's dropped some LBs. His Yukon Huskies won the national championship. Life is good.
Yeah. Keep throwing out positives. Now Wes Helms is getting ready to pinch hit. And he's on deck. And Brett Hayes to lead it off. Hayes has a pair of doubles tonight. He doubled in the 7th and came around to score the tying run to make it 1-1. The Marlins getting very good production from their catchers, with John Buck doing well. And Hayes getting his first start tonight. John Baker had done catching for them, but he's out this season with surgery.
Well, John Buck has turned himself into a pretty good offensive player.
Sure has. Diving play. Sanchez gets up, throw to first. Ow! Excellent work by the Astros shortstop to get Hayes.
Had a baby on Hell. Had a nice game out there tonight.
Yes, he has had a good game. Wes Helms will be the pinch hitter for Nolasco.
Made that play early in the game in the hole. Now goes up the middle. Takes away Hayes' bid for his 3rd hit.
Helms on the opening day roster this season for the 11th time in his career. His 4th straight with Florida. A career .262 pinch hitter with 7 bombs. He leads all active players in pinch hits with 69 since 2005. There's ball 1. An excellent performance from Ricky Nolasco has left the Marlins in very good shape tonight. Leo Nunez is warming up. Nolasco in 8 innings allowed 8 hits, 2 runs. No walks, 2 strikeouts, threw a wild pitch.
Well, if the Astros tie this ball game, Edwin Rodriguez is going to have a pretty depleted bench. Just John Buck remains.
Nolasco threw 108 pitches, 76 for strikes. Hanley Ramirez left the game with a contusion of his left leg. That sounds like very good news.
Yeah.
Day to day.
It's a whole lot better than a torn ACL or something like that.
3-0 pitch to Helms.
Dangerous.
3-1.
Taking all the way there. Will not look at that one again, I don't believe.
No.
Not in his nature.
Doesn't walk a lot. Last year, 26 walks, 254 bats. He's swinging and popping up in foul territory. Brett Wallace, the wind takes it, and he stays with it. 2 outs. In the Astros' 9th, Wallace is due to lead off, then Johnson, then Hall.
A little late adjustment by Wally. I could catch it up there, but it's more fun to catch it down here.
It's not a very easy night for fly balls and pop-ups, the way that wind has been whipping through. Chris Coughlin is 0 for 4, but he got an RBI. That's ball 1. That was the one that tied the game in the 7th inning. Bouncing into a force play. This fly ball heads for left. Carlos Lee looking up. And that one reaches the seats. An opposite field home run for Chris Coughlin. Number 1 of the year. And it's 4-2 Marlins.
And just a nice easy stroke. Gets it up in that air. Short part of the ballpark. You don't need a whole lot of help. That one may have gotten out of here anyway. But That's why I'm surprised, boy. You got to tip your hat to the pitchers, the starting pitchers in this game, to keep the offense down the way they did.
Took the fastball out to the Landry's Crawford boxes to make it a 2-run lead. Now up the middle, and this one on through into center field for a single for Infante. Well, the Marlins have put together 6 hits in the 8th and 9th innings combined. Now it's Greg Dobbs. Dobbs, the former Philadelphia Philly, has that opening at first base with Infante, the runner there. That's 14 hits for the Marlins. The Astros have 8.
I got to hold him right here and give him a finish in the 9th.
Dobbs singled up the middle in the 8th inning off the glove of Bill Hall. Colorado and Pittsburgh 3-3 bottom of the 6th inning at Pittsburgh. Tabata with home run number 1 for the Pirates. Giambi number 1 for the Rockies. Two 2-0. Cubs are at Milwaukee. It's 5-3 Chicago after a 5-run 4th. They've played 4. Jeff Baker hit number 1. Giovanni Soto his first. Prince Fielder belted number 1 for the Brewers. Now it's 3 balls, no strikes.
Randy Wolf pitching for Milwaukee tonight. The brother of our home plate umpire here, Jim Wolf.
And that Milwaukee rotation certainly hoping to get injured pitchers back pretty soon. Zach Greinke.
I think the Wolf parents do. Hey, do you want to watch Randy pitch tonight, or should we tune in to Jim's game?
3-1.
Guess Jim works every night, and Randy just every 5th day.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty easy decision.
We could see Randy take on the Mets or Jim take on pitch tracks.
Jim call home and his dad give him, "You got a tight zone tonight, son. Let's go."
I got to get to bed. Yeah. 3 balls and a strike. Line to Bill Hall. In the 9th inning, the Coughlin opposite field home run gives the Marlins a 4-2 lead. Nunez here for the bottom of the 9th inning. After Ricky Nolasco took his club the first 8, Nunez 1 for 1 in saves with a 2.25 ERA.
Fiery right-hander, can rush it up there in the mid-90s. Kind of slings it. Not quite as down below as, say, Carlos Marmol, but somewhat similar from time to time. We'll drop that arm angle a little bit.
Wes Helms stays in to play third.
Velasco was sturdy tonight. My goodness. Yeah. A couple times where I thought, man, they maybe should get him out of there, but he hung in there. The chance to be the winning pitcher.
And Nunez comes in to try to help him do that as Brett Wallace leads it off, to be followed by Johnson and Hall. Wallace is 2 for 3, a single to right and a double to left. Third baseman Helms well off the line. And there's strike one on the heater at 92 to Wallace. Well, the Reds infielders played Wallace to pull a little bit more than the Marlins are right now. Fouled in, it's 0-2. The Astros trying to avoid a 15th straight game of scoring 4 runs or less going back to last year. They had a 1-0 lead on the J.R. Tolles homer in the third, and then got run number 2 on a Chris Johnson single in the 7th to lead 2-1. Marlins got a 7th inning run, 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Nunez. Nunez got a save Wednesday night against Washington in a 7-4 victory.
30 saves last year, but he failed 8 times.
That's a pretty high number of blown saves.
The ERA at 3.46, 65 innings. He struck out 71, walked 21, so those numbers solid. Allowed 5 home runs. That's what came up with Kansas City back in 2005. A lot of thinking going on there.
Yeah.
Didn't want the fastball, didn't want the changeup, decided he wanted a backdoor slider.
Has a good changeup. Wallace to left center field. Outfielders giving chase. Coughlin watches it land. Way up for a home run for Brett Wallace. And it's a 1-run ball game as the wind helps it and takes it out to left center. Home run number 1 of the season for Wallace, the 3rd of his major league career.
Boy, he has been on the ball all night long, and Mom in attendance has to be loving that.
Second long ball of the night for the Astros. Nobody out in the 9th, down by 1 now.
And it wasn't the backdoor slider, it was a changeup. And trying to throw a little changeup down and away, and he kept the hands back and got through it nicely.
Chris Johnson comes up.
Man, is he going to love hitting in this ballpark?
Yeah. He does have very good power to left center field. 1 ball, 1 strike. We saw Lance Berkman hit the ball very well, left-handed to left center in this ballpark. One and 2 to Johnson with Hall on deck. Marlins bullpen had gone 19 innings without giving up an earned run until last night. Line drive left field. Caught. Morrison there for out number 1. Pretty well hit ball there. After the Wallace 388-foot home run.
After those 2 swings, I wonder how Ricky Nolasco is feeling down there in the Marlins either dugout or clubhouse, wherever he's watching this game from. Come on, man, give me a couple more outs.
Yeah. Hayes out to chat with Nunez. Pass along some information. Bill Hall's 1 for 3. J.R. Tolles is on deck.
And if anything, that wind has stiffened here a little bit.
Strike 1 right on the edge for Hall. The usual wind patterns in this park on a night like tonight, this time of year, would be that the wind would be coming from behind first base and swooping over the roof of the stadium and then taking the ball out to left.
Boy, just missed. I think maybe the message from Hayes was, hey, let's go back to bases and try to bang away at that outside corner down around the knees.
It's 1-2.
There are some pitchers who say, boy, the ball just leaves his hand. It's kind of effortless. That's not the case with Nunez. A lot of body motion. He gives you everything he's got.
And he puts it right there for a strikeout of Hall. 2 outs. Third strikeout for Marlins pitching tonight.
Likes to hit the fastball, so as the pitcher say, well, I'll give him what he likes, I just won't give it to him where he likes it. The last 2 fastballs off the plate away, but close enough for Hall. He's tempted to go after him. Tough to catch up to that when he was out the outside edge at 97 miles an hour.
Those are the feet of J.R. Tolles. They trotted around the bases on a 3rd inning homer. He singled in the 5th, bounced into a forced play then. Joe Inglet is on deck. Pitcher spot due up next. One and one. Nunez struck out 71 last year in 65 innings. He's from the Dominican Republic. That's a strike, and that makes it 1-2.
Yeah, after struggling a little bit with his command first 2 hitters, he's really locked in, throwing the ball where he wants to. Good depth and bite on that slider.
Line drive left field. Tolles is aboard. That gets pinch hitter Joe Inglet to the plate. 3rd hit of the night for J.R. Tolles.
Nunez made a mistake with the fastball, threw it over the fat part of the plate, and J.R. jumped all over it. Jason Bourgeois is going to come on and pinch run, maybe try to steal a bag. What a night for J.R.
Yeah.
3 hits, one of them a home run. Threw out a man trying to steal.
He's had a 4-hit major league game. Bourgeois stole a base yesterday as he started in Cincinnati. And he's a guy who really can make things happen. He's not shy when he comes off the bench. He's 2 for 2 in steals. Inglet the pinch hitter now, batting for Fulcino. 263 career pinch hitter, 20 pinch hits last year for Inglet. And the throw goes over. Inglet this season is 0 for 3 since joining the Astros. Michael Bourne stole 3rd back in the 8th inning. Another throw goes over on Bourgeois.
Most teams in this situation, most times it seems clubs are hesitant to try to steal bases. They've only got 1 out to play with, but I like it. Even if the guy gets thrown out, I have no qualms with being aggressive here trying to steal this base.
Inglet had 20 pinch hits to lead the majors last year. And there's strike 1. Inglet was with Tampa Bay this spring. Considers himself more of a National League type player. He was with Milwaukee last season, hitting .254. Bourgeois tracks another throw.
The Marlin outfield is deep. Double probably ties the ball game, so they're playing a step or 2 deep. And Cousins, the right fielder, shading towards the alley in right center. They're taking the alley, trying to pinch the alley a little bit, so they're giving up a little bit down the right field line.
Runner going. Foul back. Bourgeois took off. Inglet fouled it. It's 0-2.
Yeah, good idea trying to steal that base. Inglet cannot take this pitch to to allow him to try to steal. He's already down in the count 1 strike, so you can't afford to have that mindset that you're going to take another pitch.
Step back. And he'll take that sign again with the 0-2 count. Bourgeois has attracted a lot of attention, a whole lot of thought by the Marlins going into what's happening here. England takes a ball. 1-2. 14 hits for the Marlins, 10 for the Astros tonight. Max Scherzer in Detroit beat Kansas City 5-2. Kyle Davies lost it. Jose Valverde picked up save number 2. Runner going, pitch out, the throw is there, and that's the end of the ball game. Well, Bourgeois gunned down as Hayes got it on to second in plenty of time for that tag to win the ball game. And the Marlins have roared from behind to win it, getting 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th inning. And here's that final play.
And that's the danger when the hitter's down in the count. Then the manager on the other side is much more likely to pitch out. But again, I like the idea of being aggressive there instead of laying back against, these closers are so tough to string hits together against. I like the idea of trying to steal a base. Just didn't work out this time.
Murphy with the tag on a 2-6, caught stealing to end it. Final score, Marlins 4, Astros 3.